Today we're talking about Ocularis plugs. This is a brilliant attachment system, but a lot of folks find it difficult. So I'm here to clear the air on some of that, and hopefully you guys will all learn something, because this is truly one of the strongest and most secure attachment systems I have ever used. Stay tuned. First, they'll hold flats. They'll hold looped tubes. And it doesn't have a pouch on it, but they'll also do singles. So let's first start with what the plug is. Plug goes into these holes. Then a bearing goes into the plug's hole. Video over. Alright, so you want to remember, folks, with flats, you always want them coming around. So what I do is I hold the pouch how I would be holding it. Now, these are the SimpleShot flat bands that come with your frame. So I hold it how I would be shooting it. And then I run it through on the target side. And I'm not going to worry about getting it proper to my draw length or anything, or keeping it even. This is just demo. Take the side with the line, and I always put that towards the band. Then, take your bearing and shove it in. Now, go around again, because these bands wrap around, and if you're not wrapping them around, you're not gonna have the best effect. And I will show you that here in a minute. And push that other bearing in. Now, to really snug these in, what I do is I pull from the target side after getting the bearing in there. That helps suck that back in all the way. There we go. We are banded up, ready to shoot. Now, for lighter bands, thinner latex, what you need is one of these. Well, Adam, that looks like a ballpoint pen that you played with and removed everything from. You're right, it is. You want one with a narrow end and one with the wide end. The wide end, you're going to set on that bearing, and you're going to push it in. Now, there is a properly seated bearing. That is never going to come out, you guys, until you remove it. Now, this one, it will come out. It takes some force, but it comes out. That one takes way more force. Now, you can actually see the deformation difference, as this one, with the bearing not seated all the way, is narrow and uniform. And this one, you can see that bulge around the center from that bearing. That pressure is what is holding your bands in. Now, what do you do with the little end? That's for getting the bearing out from the back side. Now, this hole on the back side of the plug is smaller. You see where that one slips in? There's a little lip there, and you're not going to get that through there. When you seat the plug, or when you seat the bearing into the plug, you can go ahead and take it all the way back to that, and it won't come through. Now, So besides the pen for inserting the balls, the ball and tube tool, which is used for inserting the ball, the stop ball, in the inside of tubes. All you tube shooters will know exactly, or anyone that has seen any of the slingshot rifles and stuff like that. Little magnet in the end of the tip holds the ball, slide it in there. These work great for the Axiom Ocularis plugs as well. Simply slide it in, slide it out. So, if you don't have any of these old school pens, because they are actually hard to find, it took me forever to find one that was adequate. If you've got one of these guys around, great tool for the Ocularis plugs. Again, make sure that your frame, target side, the bands are coming over the outside, whether TTF orientation through the forks or OTT over the top. The bands should always flip around, and that helps ensure that this plug is being pulled into the hole. Now, real quick with flat bands, the improper way. The improper way. This is not correct. Do not do this, etc., etc. You will lose plugs. Let's go from the shooter side. We're going to put our plugs in the proper way, but our bands are backwards. Let's even pull that, get that seated good. Let's throw us a ball in there. There we go. All right. Now I don't have it seated down all the way in there, but you can see it's seated. It's in there. So if we have it that way and we're shooting, there's 1 shot, 2 shot, 3 shot, and my plug came out. Even though the ball is seated, even though the lip was on the shooter side the way it's supposed to be, well, that must mean that this system absolutely sucks, right? No, that is 100% user error. If this band is like this, and the lip is like that, you are pulling the plug out. You are going to lose it. That's science. Not just science, that's every law of physics. So now, what about the tubes? Pretend I've got a pouch on here. We're going to run that through the hole from the shooter side. Then we're going to stick that around our plug. We're going to pull that in. Now, these plugs have that groove there on each side, and that's what you're sticking the bands through, is that groove. Now note, the lip is on target side because we are pulling from the shooter side. Again, just like with the flat bands, if we had that backwards, we're going to pull the plug out. So single tubes, you're going to want to set them up with, you know, the active side on the inside. This is effectively shooting through the forks configuration. And you know, obviously, you'll slap your ball in there. Now, looped tubes, same thing. We're going to run our tubes through there. Make sure they're centered. And we're going to pull that plug in. And then we're going to pull this plug in. And there you go. Now you're set up to shoot looped tubes. Shooter side right here. Target side here with the lip towards the target for tubes. So let's just do it one of each. I'm not going to bother putting the bearing in. So looped tubes, target side, the lip of the plug towards the target. Flats, the lip towards the shooter. That's so you don't pull, even without, let's get this out of the way so you can really see. No bearing in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's more secure than the improper way without even having a bearing in. No trickery, there's no bearing in there. And you guys just watched. It won't pull through. It won't come off. Now eventually, because there's not any pressure being applied in there, yes, this is slowly going to lengthen because this will slip out some, for sure. But you guys, what a great attachment method, and how secure is that? Incomplete, and it holds the band. Now, if you want to shoot some thinner latex, you can always use a slightly larger ball. If you're shooting some super thick latex, use a smaller ball. But a very sound and solid way of band attachment. If you guys are having trouble with this, you know, pay attention to which way you're orientating your Ocularis plugs. Now, if you have one of the old black and yellow Jacket series bean flips or a few other different frames that use these plugs, you'll know that when you use these plugs appropriately, they're a super fast and a super secure attachment method. Thanks for watching, everyone. Hope this helped somebody. Click that bell to get notified of new videos when they come up. And stay safe and shoot straight.